I apologize for my camera having vanished.
We're back. But yeah, honestly, Rize looking better. Very, very much like a different team coming through than what happened in game one. Maybe it was just a blip on the radar, but I do believe right now we are in a better situation. So so it's currently up for, well, not debate. It's up for consideration whether I feel like Rise have this game already, but I don't think it's that decided because there is combat mechanics. There is a lot of combat mechanics in this game. God, I don't really like them, but there's a lot of them, and one wrong foot in a fight is going to make something happen. And the fight starts
Speaking of a
begins.
fight, Cease and Assist comes in and a beautiful combo tears the serpent's head from tail. Ketsuo can find one on the backside, but there's very little left. Sin finds one, looking for a second, and a clean ace coming in for the side of Rize. 11-1. The dragon is theirs. Soul Point is theirs, and this game may just be in their hands as well.
Can't believe we were 1 kill away from a Norn pentakill. But yeah, honestly, like Venomcrest, you're fighting a composition that is able to just pull a snap trigger like that, has a lot of AoE CC and a lot of AoE damage into a choke point, where you don't really get to dictate the way you fight. You don't get to dictate the way you approach it, the way you make things happen. And as much as you manage to get damage down, you manage to make something happen on the map. Wasn't enough. Oh! Phrase!
He nearly
1
found
HP!
it!
1
He
HP!
found it! It was one! Literally one! BB Muffin's gonna be a sacrifice across to Katsuo on the bottom side of the rift. But oh my lord, the heartbreak for Phrase. He so nearly had it.
Oh my god.
1 HP and a dream.
That was too close. Too close. one health. Like, that must be a real tilter. Like,
a brisk breeze was enough to take it down.
Yeah, I mean, it like I expected it because of the tempo of the map, they managed to get back out and find that window to try and make that steal happen, and then it's just that close. I feel like at this point, like, your mental is a little bit shot, but you still have to soldier through. You still have to try and make something happen. You do have 2 items on your major carries. You have the 2 items completed onto Crispig. You have the 2 items completed onto Katsuo. You can look for something to make something happen on the map. You can look to try and be proactive, to try and make collapses happen. As we see here, Nikki might be caught slightly out of position, but the blast cone just secures the exit from the situation. And I am also, on the other end, I am not sure Crispberg had the damage to take the Dorn down at this point without the Liar completed.
And definitely wouldn't be the easiest of kills to take. A 5,500 gold lead in favor of Rize at present. With no neutral up for a couple more minutes. It is on to Venomcrest to try and find one overstep. The hook comes in and lands onto Tweak. In comes the depth charge onto BB Muffin. Glacial Fissure tags onto them both as well, but there's not enough damage, and yet again, Venomcrest find themselves grouped to their demise. Just like that, Crispberg and Refresh having to run to the hill. Jamsu finds one, and another should fall in just a second. Ketsuo falls as well, and another clean ace. You may have your item spikes, Venomcrest, but you don't have hands.
Yeah, I mean, Venomcrest, again, looking for these fights in situations where they don't really have control of the area. And Rize, just taking the challenge more than happily. And this is going to be another objective with the Alpacan going down. It is going to be an additional turret going down for the side of Rize. And at this point, honestly, looking at the composition on both sides, who kills this Ornn? Who kills this front line? Who is able to manage the front line? Aniki is creating so much space, and he is dealing so much damage in these fights. He currently has the most gold in the game. this is madness. This is Venomcrest. We're seeing Venomcrest do what Rize were doing in the last game. They're trying to headbutt their way into a winning fight without calculating that, oh, we're fighting in a choke point. This is not our win condition. We are fighting into their hands and still doing it. We are still looking for trigger point. We're still looking for the miracle engage. One more hook, one more death charge, one more whatever at this point, one more flash counter strike. You don't have the money to back up your proactive plays unless you're getting on top of Sin with your Jax and with the Tetsuo damage. You're not really making anything happen in these fights.
And it's not just that at this point either. You can see they always end up clumped together, and it makes the life of Rize that much easier. The culling going to be trying to clear out this top lane wave. The bot lane tier 1 falls, and an objective bounty is claimed, but sitting at about an 8, maybe almost 9,000 gold deficit. Rize really in the driver's seat in this situation, have confined Venomcrest to their base in every lane but bot.
Yeah, I mean, you are now in the situation where, as Rize, you can kind of get to do anything you want. You can play the 1-3-1, you can play the 1-4, you can look to just group as 5 and force a fight, and there's not really much that Venomcrest can do to stop you, I'll be honest, because if the Orin engage is not landing, then the Rakan will, and if the Rakan won't, then the Vi will. And yeah, Braum is an excellent pick into engage comps, but when there is this much engage and not enough damage to back up the unbreakable damage, we see a 5 breaking in.
Weaver's Wall sees an assist, takes 5 straight into the backline, jumps that as well. Able to be stunned up. Matthew able to find one. Venomcrest finally had a chance to bite back on this fight. Sin has been kept on the back by Refresh, is able to go on a killing spree. In goes the Vi once again. Health bar's very low. Call of Fortune going to tag onto one and take the kill, no less. Down goes Chrisberg as well, and it's Ketsuo and Fraze fighting for their lives, running for the hills and trying just a little bit more to live. Sin flashing forwards has not got Killer Instinct up and available, as Ketsuo are able to survive for now, as is Fraze. But while they're able to find one in the middle of chaos, 3 more fall, and Rize are happy to pocket them for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, a better fight than what we saw. A lot of space for your carries to try and make the plays happen, to try and space out the possible damage coming through. But the Weaver's Wall coming through, the Engage coming through with the Orin ultimate, with the quickness, with the Seasoned Assist is just too much at this point. The Lucian, which is a pick that we saw in the lane, doing fine. They were being even, but they were not pushing the advantage. They were getting nothing done. And now we see it punished. The Kaisa has 3 items completed. Triple upgrade. That supercharge is just going to be able to make Sin a phantom in these fights. And this Kaisa is bloody scary. There's not many more words I can use in the situation. This Rize team is looking scary. We see them finally activated. We see them finally being decisive, making the right choices, pulling the trigger in the right situations, and a lot of praise has to be given for me to Tweak. Tweak has been able to punish the overextensions and to look for the windows to fight that have just been
Speaking of punishing the overextensions, Tweak may be the one being punished on this time. Goes in behind everybody. He's able to survive for a long, long time, but will go down eventually. Jamsu, though, has found every single member. The fish is not enough. Ketsuo goes down. Chrisberg goes down. And there's no more damage. There's no more anything left for Venomcrest. They find one. It's a triple kill for Sin, making a quadra kill. Make it a pentakill as Rize ascend.
Oh boy. Almost Caster Crest Rize into losing the game by losing Tweak right before our major objective. But then the squad turns up, and it's just so much damage, and it's so much CC coming through. And it's just, at this point, it's a formality who wins this game. But Sin, pentakill on the Kaisa. He has shown up in this game. Last game, relegated to just being this mid-game slumping AD carry that doesn't really get to play the game because of the overwhelming power coming through from the side of Venomcrest, but now able to be unlocked on this Kaisa, being able to free fire into the backline, being able to shred the front line. He doesn't really care who you are on the side of Venomcrest. He will just kill you. Doesn't really matter. But finally, as we see a Rize activated, a Rize looking for proactive plays, a Rize playing together, which is the most important part. It felt like they were disjointed in game 1. Game 2, different story, different beast.
Certainly is. Sin, a beautiful pentakill, really is riding high on his power this game, but it cannot be understated how strong Jamsu is as well, as Phrase finds himself caught out once again in this game. 0, 5, and 4. Jamsu and Tweak really setting up their AD carry for success in this game. Engages have been pixel perfect every single time. Rize, they really had a statement to make after game number 1. They said they weren't going to lay over and take it again, and it's exactly what they have proved they're not going to do in this game. In comes another Weaver's Wall, and it may just be game. A lot of damage coming out of the culling, but it may just not be enough. Kensro going incredibly low. Chrisberg is still free firing on the side though. Surviving spared a good chunk of damage. Weaver, I think, having to kite backwards. There is a lot of damage coming out on both sides. No health bars dropping just yet, but oh my good lord, Chrisberg tanks a lot to the Void Seekers coming out of Sin. And there's a blue buff on this Kai'Sa now as well. Happy to sit with this wave, happy to just shepherd it forwards with the mid lane wave crashing as well. They very much could look to end this game with the poke coming out of Sin. He does not run out of mana, and he does not miss. Time after time, these Void Seekers are tagging onto members of Venomcrest, and another wave or two, and their Nexus towers should be gone. Ultimates gone across the board for that side as well, and now the engage from Rize finds its mark. Jamsu, Aniki, Tweak, all making themselves known. Sin goes flying in as just a formality. Jamsu's life may be forfeit. It's a double kill going across to BB Muff in game 1. He struggled game 2, no more. It's a triple kill, and just like that, Rize wiped the floor with Venomcrest in game number 2. The Serpents may have bore their fangs in game 1, but it was not enough to carry them through. We're going to a game 3.
And welcome Rize to the lower bracket semifinal. But thanks for showing up. 1-1. What honestly a fantastic game on the side of Rize. Really showing that maybe game 1 was just a blip on the radar, nothing else. The engaged combos, the patience, being able to just hold back and not necessarily going for that play. Hold back and wait for the right second to punish. The first punish in mid as a collapse in the 2v4. In the second one, they collapse in a choke point. They use their overwhelming CC, their overwhelming engage power. As soon as the Unbreakable goes down, any method that Venomcrest have to stop the engage is gone. And they capitalized on that every single time. And Nikki, I believe, didn't quite end up deathless because he walked into the fountain, but in actual terms of combat, he didn't die a single time. Quadra kill on the Ornn. And Sin, of course, had to do him one better. You know, these 80 carries, where he goes always having to be the one-upper, gets the pentakill on the Kai'Sa, and we're going to a game 3.
We are a beautiful game across the board from every member of the Rize squad. On Venomcrest, they had to take the knee in game number 2. I'm going to go ahead and throw it back to Middlecott, Rob, and Savonix to break that game down and prepare you all for game number 3, so don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this analysis.
Crikey, that's we got a tough job here, lads. No one wants to miss this.
I think
no one wants to miss this. I think maybe there are some people sat next to me that might want to miss this, but before we get into that, it is our obligation as an analyst desk after a game with a pentakill in it to look at that pentakill and go, wow, so amazing. Savonix, Sin grabbing a pentakill. We don't see it all that often from this guy, but he really showed up here.
Yeah, no, it was a great game. We actually, on the off air, we were quite concerned at how this fight started, but I think Kai'Sa arriving late to this fight is exactly what you want. You're basically like an assassin marksman, and so coming in to just deal so much damage at the back end of a fight when a lot of Venomcrest tools have been used. And looking at the draft of Venomcrest, they have abilities. Once that's gone, that's a great opening for a champion like the Kai'Sa to go in, and so props to Sin for being able to recognize that.
And I think Sin, Rob, was one of the players that we were looking at in the last game where all of the chaos, all the negative things going around, they weren't really linked to him. He's really stepped up in this game. Rize were looking dead and buried. They look like a completely different team in the second game of this series.
it looks like a complete emotional reset, doesn't it? It looks like someone has behind the scenes gone and said, we are not going out like this. We are going to take down Venomcrest win and show we're going to be good enough and take on the Brods later on in the tournament. And Sin had a phenomenal game, as we see there, 12-0-13, just a crazy scoreline. I had concerns in the draft about it because you're playing into Chrisberg Matthew, into their Lucian Braum, been an incredibly great pairing. He's playing the Kaiser Rakan. It's not the easiest laning phase for him. He was down a little bit CS, but he just came into it fight after fight after fight. And it's just great to see Rize make this bounce back. And it is a crazy bounce back. We can't understate how poor last game they were into how amazing they look this game.
God. Even the tone of his voice started going up there. That's crazy.
It was everything right though, Sovnix. It wasn't just that they had better gameplay. It was that the draft was so much more thoughtfully constructed and had a clear sort of raison d'etre and a thing to do for this composition. And it was very nicely executed from Rize in this game.
Yeah, and it kind of comes back to how in the first game there were so many individual errors, and in this game there were so many individual like moments from Rize, and it almost feels like this is why playoffs are best of series, is because in a regular split game, that's 1-0 to Venomcrest, they take the winnings, but in a series you got to show up for every single game in that series. And I think Rize, they woke up in this game too. Whoever's doing their draft also woke up in this second game, stopped trying to rely on individual brilliance and focus on what they're good at, which is being a good team. And so I really like the game plan from Rize, and we'll see what they do for game 3.
Yeah, greater than the sum of its parts, indeed. But there was one of those parts, Rob, that you were really highlighting as the MVP. They put in a decent shift on the Yorick in the previous game, but Aniki on the Ornn, setting up some really big plays and even getting a quadra for themselves.
I want to preface it by saying, obviously, Sin got Penta, and Sin did play incredibly well. I just think that sometimes the pieces around a carry don't get, especially top laners who play weak side, they don't get attributed as much fame, so to speak, so much notoriety. And I think Aniki here, being willing to take the Ornn pretty much blind, right? I know it was into the Jax, but taking the Ornn into a matchup where it's pretty chill, but the Jax can start split pushing, and he had into a Braum as well. Amazing Ornn ult after amazing Ornn ults. Got that Quadra as well. I don't know if we got the replay for that one, but we had the Quadra as well, where he just looks so good in that team fight. And when you're down and out, it's sometimes easy to go, we're just going to lose quietly, guys. But they came in here, 3 engage tools, Ornn being that primary engage, and everything was hitting for Rize. But I just want to shout out Niki, because I think having the willingness to go towards, now I'm going to play the engaged kind of champions, I'm going to go away from Yorick, I'm going to go weak side, and setting up so much of what went well here for Rize is really important.
Yeah, it's big. Also, massive step up from BB Muffin in this game as well. I don't want to say look like a different player, because he looked like himself this game. He looked like BB Muffin. He wasn't throwing ultimates here, there, and everywhere. And I think that the Talia, from a thematic standpoint, could be quite similar to the Azir in terms of what she brings to a team fight. And so I think there were a few worries for me when that was locked in. But Sovnix, he absolutely turned up in this game. And I think that more broadly, that makes looking towards Game 3 very interesting, because we've seen 2 very one-sided games from both of these teams.
Yeah, I did kind of preface this start of this game by saying the one kind of scare that Rize have to look out for is if that Hui gets ahead in the laning
Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to Rize versus Venomcrest. We're about to go into that aforementioned game that you do not want to miss. The decider between these two teams. Loser is out of the playoffs. Winner goes up against Brod. We are going to have champion select, the final champion select of the evening in a few minutes. But, gentlemen, it is do or die. It is crunch time. It is squeaky bum time, as Alex Ferguson used to say. We've seen the roller coaster that these two teams have been on. And Rob, I'm going to come to you first because it's probably going to take you the longest. Where are we at in this series? What are we feeling? What are we thinking? What is Game 3 going to look like?
I think, as we in draft very quickly bring it up, I guess, we saw Venomcrest in that Game 1 versus Rize. It felt like Rize lost to themselves, making a lot of misplays. Venomcrest taking those and running with it. This next game, it feels less like that, where Venomcrest were doing the same thing. It more felt like Rize were being proactive with their engage. They were looking to make fights happen. And so for me, we'll have to see if Venomcrest can show a sign of that, because so far, Rize's win to me is more impressive than the Venomcrest win. And so for this Game 3, as long as both teams draft in a way that makes sense and doesn't cause them to not have engage or things, I'm favouring Rize. However, Venomcrest haven't looked, in that first game particularly poor. So there's a good chance that they could bring out something. As we see, it's refreshed. Pardon I guess it is a joke again. And Maokai, not a surprise, one of Fraser's best champs.
Yeah, you need to be careful with those. Sovonix, having a look at what's been locked in already, what identities do you think the team should be trying to build with this Maokai here for Venomcrest and this Dr. Mundo and Orianna for Rize?
I think just in this series alone, you can tell Rize is a team that thrives in that 5v5 team comp style. Picking the Orianna up is a good start. Where this Mundo is going to go is a question mark. I know personally that Tweak can play Dr. Mundo jungle. I know that he likes it a lot. Whilst it doesn't have copious amounts of crowd control, it is a champion that he is very comfortable with. It's a good flex pick because you can move that into the top lane if the matchup is good. And so I think Rize not giving away too much of what they want to pick, whereas Venomcrest, I think it's all on the cards. Aphelios, Lulu, Maokai. This is, you've got your front line, you've got your DPS, you've got an enchanter, and it's just about pairing good wave clear, maybe a control mage in there with the rest of the composition.
Pretty standard, isn't it? It's pretty standard at the moment. The Jinx of Aphelios back from yesteryear. Wonder what Jamsu's going to end up playing with this Jinx with the Lulu off the table. You don't really... A lot of the engage has gone as well. There's only really like Leona. I don't like Jamsu's Alistair. I don't want to see it. Please don't make me... God low. Don't go Jamsu Alistair again. And I think that... so questions about what Jamsu's going to play. As you said about this Mundo, it is a flex. And it's very good into the Maokai. But in and of itself, you still don't have the go button, right? You still don't have that. Ornn's not going to be available. You don't have the Jarvan at the moment, so they do need some primary engage here for Rize Gaming. You need some way of getting this Orianna Shockwave, preferably on the Aphelios, who will just stand his ground and mow you down if you don't have that snap engage.
Rob, quick question. What is a genre of music which is characterized by guitars, bass, drums, and a lead singer that was particularly popular during the mid to late 20th century?
Is it possibly rock?
I think it is possibly rock.
Is this my am I a millionaire now?
You might be. Rize might be better than Millionaires, winner of this series, if they lock in something like a Malphite, which is going to be able to provide a lot of that, especially when you see Venomcrest going for this sort of protect the Aphelios comp.
I will say locking in a Malphite is concerning with the ability to pick a silence in response right now. So I probably wouldn't do that on R4. If you're going to go with the Malphite, probably wait until R5. Let the blue side pick their two. Okay.
There we are.
And it's a Talon.
It's a
I like
exciting
this.
line
I like this.
to do draft, but yeah.
Yeah, you thought
Interesting.
Fearless was fun. We're changing champion select, so you get 50 minutes to lock one champion and then 2 seconds to lock the next one. It's brilliant.
I will just bring up the Lulu for Matthew. I know we're jumping back a bit of a crime doing draft analysis, but Matthew is an incredibly good Lulu. I forgot who was playing, so he's very big comfort here coming out for the side of Venomcrest. The Talon is also comfort for Ketsuo. He was taking a break from the league, was coming back, he was playing Zed and Talon in solo queue. And then and you see here the Cho'Gath in top with a Fiora lock. This is great because we don't even get to see hovers. We just go.
No,
and suddenly there's a Fiora.
No.
There's a Fiora.
Right
and
then.
that's exciting. That's really exciting, but concerning in the way that they've only really got Leona engage.
Yeah, it does feel like Rize are sort of in a halfway house between their Game 1 composition and their Game 2 composition. I do think they've got a few more of those proactivity tools, and then the Fiora does become an inevitability on the side lane. Sovereigns, if we're looking over at what Venomcrest have got for themselves, how are they going to be playing this out? We don't see stuff like the Talon all that often.
No, I mean, there is AP in the Maokai and the Cho'Gath, so I understand you want to pick an AD mid laner, especially one that is pretty strong into Orianna. The only thing, though, is I don't know what he provides for the team comp outside of AD damage and threat onto the Orianna. If he doesn't drop 5 kills in the early game, I'm sure solo queue players have seen this champion can be pretty useless without that condition. But I guess another interesting thing is Fiora, because I feel like this champion hasn't had the best success in the UKL. Raider couldn't win on it in the first opening game, so I don't know what you guys think about it.
It's away from Aniki what we wanted him, really. We wanted him to play these tanks engages. He is very, very good in those engages and being weak-sided. Now he is a main focal point on side. You say about the Talon as well. Interesting in that we saw... I want to bring up Ketsu played a Zed in the series versus Absolved and made a very good job of it, even despite losing lane, on getting onto enemy carries. Especially the AD carrier, especially Nitra in that series. Talon is going to be very similar, where he's going to look to go in and instantly kill the Sin and then move out again. And if he can do that, there's a good chance that you're taking these fights maybe in a sort of 5v4s style, although Talon will have blown all of his abilities. So there is a chance here for this Talon to be effective. How good is the laning phase? How much experience does BB Muffin have against this Talon? Things like that are important questions to ask coming into this Game 3, because it's a bit of a crazy draft, isn't it? Towards the end, a bit of a crazy draft coming out from Venomcrest. Talon mid, we've seen it jungled by Qualsey and Chi in this split, but Talon mid is not very common at all for a physical damage mid laner to pair with him at the Maokai.
And I mean, if there is someone in the league that is going to know how to play it, it would be Ketsuo, because this is just his bread and butter. But I am sensing a little bit of that nervousness that we're having discussing this draft. It's another weird sort of champion pick here from Venomcrest, and that didn't work out for them too well last time out. We've got a little bit of time here, but because it's the final game of this series, because it is an elimination series, and we're going to start off with you, Sovereigns, who do you think is taking it based on everything that we've seen already this evening and your ideas about what's going to come?
I think I'm going to play off what you said off broadcast, in that Rize's win just looked significantly more impressive than the Venomcrest win. I'm going to emphasize the point that it didn't feel like Venomcrest won, it felt like Rize lost. Whereas Rize in their victory was very intentful, very concise, and they were very, very quick to punish the mistakes of Venomcrest. And so I think just based off that, it's got to be Rize for me.
I think, Rob, I will throw the same question over to you, but by the nodding, I don't think there's going to be much disagreement.
No, I think this should be Rize's game. We both know, me and Savonix, how good Tweak's Mundo could be. Last split, when he was on Chi, it was pretty much banned against him every single game. So he's going to have a lot of confidence there. Great jungle matchup, which was our highlighted matchup of the day. So Rize are favouring that one. Mid lane, it's incredibly flip. BB Muffin's just got to respect Ketso. If he does, should be fine. And you look across the map in the other roles, I think you should be pretty confident here predicting Rize just in terms of what looks like comfort. The biggest problem is the Fiora for me, for Rize. That's the biggest question mark for why I'm like not literally going Rize just 100%. I think it's close to like an 80-20, but this Fiora is a bit of a concern because you're missing as much playmaking as you had in that last game. And Rize looks so good with how they were making plays last game. And they don't have it this game. They have Leona.
Yeah, and it was genuinely beautiful last game. I would say a lot of those teamfights, the way they were all sort of folding into each other. But with that lack of proactivity, do you feel like that presents an opportunity here to Venomcrest, where they can go, well, actually, the Rize's ability to start fights in a traditional way is significantly hampered. They are going to have to walk at us if that solar flare misses. Does that give us the potential for Venomcrest to have a repeat performance of what Game 1 looks like?
Maybe not repeat game 1, but there's definitely a good chance of them winning. Fraser's Maokai is also very good. I think we spoke about how good he was in that previous round, but his Maokai has always been something where you can slam it first pick and he will perform on it, and it's a pick that he can facilitate all these lanes for. We discussed it at the beginning of the day. Facilitation is what these junglers need to be doing. So while Mundo's full clearing, is Fraser going to be visiting bot lane? and then bot lane, and then maybe bot lane again, and
And then
possibly
maybe bot lane
hear me
again.
out, a bot lane again. So, and I think that's the sort of angle if you're Venomcrest here you go for, because Chris
Yeah.
Berger's your main carry and Fraser's your main facilitator. You've got Felios Lulu.
Just
roll
go,
with it.
just bot lane. Just big arrow.
Bot lane,
that
bot lane,
says,
bot lane.
Down there. Down there. Easy. Let's go. All right, we are going to be finding out the winner of this game very, very shortly. And in order to narrate and provide the commentary for that, we are going to throw to our very wonderful casters in... now? Now sounds good.
Now sounds perfect. Thank you once again, Middlecott, as well as Rob and Savonix. Now then, I'm going to let you talk a little bit on the draft first, because there's a little bit of bias there for me. So, objectively speaking, Harold, for you, we've heard the desk thoughts. They said Rize. Where do you think this is going?
I think the desk has their heads up somewhere the sun don't shine, because all I see is Venomcrest victory, baby. All I see is Venomcrest victory. They Ketsuo slamming the Talon, Ignite, Conquer, going for the all-in. And as much as we were talking about this going bot lane, visiting bot lane, and punishing the bot lane, and trying to get Chrisberg ahead, Maokai Talon is a disgustingly strong mid lane gank combo. As in, you stun the Orianna, and then Talon just does Talon things. And it doesn't really matter what you pick or what counterplay you think you have, you just die. But a lot has been said about what these teams' direction is in terms of their picks. We see a Mundo on one side, we see a Maokai on the other side, we see a Fiora on one side, and we see a Cho'Gath on the other. The issue I think Rize might be running in is the same as we had in Game 1. Sick riffs, by the way. Is the issue that the Rize had in Game 1, where you want to put resources everywhere, and yet you can't, and you're getting punished for overextension whether you're trying to put resources down.
Yeah.
So you're just getting stretched across the map.
Reasonable assessment to make. I too am favouring Venomcrest in this game, but that's because they have Talon and Aphelios, and I harbour a lot of love for Aphelios. I don't make a secret of that, and I used to be a Talon main. So, 6-1 half dozen of the other. We will see who takes this game home. Both junglers starting it towards their top side, so it is going to be that bot lane focus, or at least the bot side in the early stages of the game, as Refresh is going to be left on this island to try and survive against the Niki in isolation.
I mean, Cho'Gath's one of the better weak-siders in the game. A lot of wave clear with the Vorpal spikes, the silence, and the rupture just make you manage to create a lot of space for yourself and just kind of deny whatever threat might be coming through from the side of the Fiora. We're gonna have to see whether Niki can live up to picking this Fiora, the R5, the special pick, only reserved for those of us who are worthy of it. We're gonna have to see whether you can make full prowess of this laning matchup, because this is a laning matchup that should favor the Fiora. This is a laning matchup where the Fiora gets to free scale, gets to get items relatively early in the matchup, should be able to access plates early on and just keep snowballing that early lead. We're gonna have to see whether you can, whether Aniki can actually make this top side that, under his control. As we see here, Refresh might be under some threat.
Yeah, Refresh stepped up to the wave there, has flash under the tower. Will fall, and a good riposte will stop the knockup coming through. And there's a solo kill in the mid lane as well for BB Muffin. And Rize again in game number 2, off to a game number 3, sorry. Similarly to game number 2, off to a stellar start to the game.
Well, never mind whatever I just said. We just griefed both of our solo lanes. Very cool. I don't know what we're trying. I don't know why we're not flashing earlier on the Cho'Gath. I don't know what happened in mid lane, because we only saw Ketsuo die. So I don't know. I am a little bit concerned, but as we see here, there might be a little bit of a collapse on Tweak, but the passive will absorb it now.
Ooh, flash over the wall into the rupture, as Ketsuo going to pick up that one. Venomcrest able to find a nice punish onto Tweak towards that mid side. A good roam from Refresh off back of TPing back onto the map. It's not all over just yet.
Yeah, I mean, Chrisberg and Matthew are controlling the bot lane right now. You know, Green, the Calibrum on the Felix just gives you a lot of control thanks to the range. Cool.
Good sidestep onto the Zenith Blade there from Chrisberg, as now Matthew gets to just auto Jamsu and Sin down that a little bit. Not opting to take a full fist fight, but definitely making use of the power that they have.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the lose concept of this lane. When the Leona doesn't land the engage, you just get to punish with the autos and the picks slowing them down. Now, the Graviton onto Chrisberg is just going to be able to accentuate that even more in these trades. As you see here, Refresh just busy on clearing the wave, Aniki using the Demolish to just get the plates and get the snowball going in the top lane. From his itemization, I would say he's likely going to be rushing the Ravenous Hydra, currently being the current Fiora build, but Cats was just dead again.
Huh.
Oh,
Interesting. I would wager just opting to take a little bit of a trade and losing out to the extended fight power that Orianna does possess. Ketsuo definitely finding struggles in the early stages of this game. That is Feats of Warfare going across to Rize's side. Feats of Strength not quite gone yet, as no neutral has gone down. It is an Infernal Dragon as the first dragon of the game, as now Tweak is looking towards this bot side. There is no Jamsu, however, so this will just be a stay away from my AD carry gank, if there is a gank at all.
A lot of damage going down on Saint thanks to that Infernum active, but nothing will end up happening. Spotling Chrisberg and Matthew are just shoving in the wave, trying to make sure that Fraze has first access into this river. Katsu's being currently looked at very menacingly by 3 people. Will end up slipping away into the jungle.
Looks like Dragon is going to be the interest for both, as Katsuo going to get jumped on by Jamsu, and Tweak does have to jump over the wall, but the Ignite's gone down, able to pop the ultimate for safety and jump another wall, as the Ignite's not going to tick him to death, but it does allow Tweak to start up this Dragon. The bot lane of Venomcrest just having taken reset means Fraze can look for a steal if he really wants. It's not going to play into his favor. Katsuo opting to stay on the map to try and pick up some more gold, some more XP. Sin is able to move in here as well. And with no way into the pit, the dragon is Rises.
Yeah, the priority from the mid lane just means that you're able to just have that threat of the first move of the Orianna with the shockwave available. Not really a fight you want to take on the side of Venomcrest. Here, and Nikki keeps that pressure up to the top lane. Already 2 plates in his back pocket. Refresh. He just wants to clear the way, man.
Let a man kill his minions.
Let a man farm. Oh.
Ooh, engage, catches onto Matthew. Stun comes down onto Chrisberg. Traps don't tag though. So now we're seeing just a little bit of trading come through. Won't be going particularly low as Jamsu taking yet another pop of damage from Chrisberg there. A good use of that moonshot. Just to keep Jamsu marked up. We did see that Refresh picked up the first stack of that feast onto a minion on that wave, as Jamsu taking another chunk of damage from this Calibrum Crescendum combo coming out of Chrisberg. No level 6s in the bot lane for Venomcrest just yet, but Sin does have his. We picked up that Soul Wave under tower. There's the 6s ticked.
Yeah, I mean, right now on the side of Venomcrest, you really have to make something happen, and yeah, I guess that counts.
Jamsu goes down. Sin potion saving him. Matthew looking
has flash.
To just catch him. Does have flash. Isn't gonna use it. Is just gonna back off as Tweak picking up the second neutral objective of the game for Rize, picking up these grubs, and that puts them 1 step away from having feats of strength before any punishment can come in. But in comes the Nature's Grasp. It is going to tag onto BB Muffin as Ketsuo is looking for something aggressive. Good use, but the Shockwave will keep BB Muffin alive for now. In comes the Shadow Assault. BB Muffin going to flash and still drop down. Shutdown goes across to Ketsuo. Jamsu's now in the mid lane alongside his jungler, but a beautiful use of that twisted advance from Fraze will keep him alive. Just a second long enough to dodge away from the Zenith Blade.
Yeah, honestly, really good gank on the side of Venomcrest, trying to make something happen in the middle and trying to claw back some of this advantage into the back pocket of Ketsuo. The Nature's Grasp Twisted Advance combo into an Orianna That's what I was talking about. It was about the possible setup, the possibility of playing around this mid laner for your phrase. And you know, we saw him. We've seen Ketsu slip a little bit some of these fights, but now, you know, trying to put together this Yomus, make things happen on the map, get the movement speed unlocked, trying to unlock the potential of the shadow. No, he's not the shadow assassin. He's just a really edgy dude with a lot of blades.
Yeah, that he is. See Fraze looking on towards the bot side. Is Matthew going to get tagged up by Jamsu, but Chrisberg is looking aggressively. A lot of CC onto this Lulu will keep them locked up, but Matthew's living for so long. Chrisberg's already picked up one onto Sin. It's the double kill as Jamsu drops down as well. This Lulu, through heal, through shield, through growth, is able to survive, and Chrisberg is sitting on 3 kills to his name and a collector in his bank.
3-0-0. Collector already finished. Chrisberg is already online, and Fraze punishes and looks to find the window to fight. Again, he has been the kingmaker for this Venomcrest roster, and he keeps showing up in these situations. He keeps making the play happen. He keeps the engine going for this Venomcrest side. And I don't think it's an understatement to say that in the last game, he felt absent. He felt nowhere. And in this game, already a lot more impact compared to the last game. 4 assists, on lock, ganking mid, ganking bot lane, making things happen in the river. As we see here, Jamsu might be being punished, but ends up being a miss Zenith Blade and nothing more will happen. Of course, you know, we all saw BB Muffin walking down the river, so I think you're glad on the side of Venomcrest that Zenith Blade did not land.
You most certainly are, and the zap going wide to cancel the reset as well. Really are. Chrisberg just happy to sit and let this bot lane try and catch him. And he's more than happy to duck, dodge, and weave and say, nah, too slippery for you. That being said, first items coming in across the board for the side of Venomcrest. Full Leandries, full Yumus, and full Collector on Fraze, Ketsuo, and Chrisberg. Each 3 items completed on the other side as well for the top side of Rize, Ravenous Hydra, Heartsteel, and Archangel's Staff completed for Aniki, Tweak, and BB Muffin respectively. And with the first tower dropping in the top side, it is Feats of Strength going across to Rize, and a TP coming into the bot side to try and make a punish. Aniki is joining his AD carry. Fraze is in the area as Tweak tries to keep him out, but this TP may have been for very little other than to just try and save the tower. In goes Ketsuo onto BB Muffin, takes a lot of damage, now stuck in the pit with the Dragon. The Dragon has started, Shockwave comes in, it tags onto one on the other side of the fight. Chrisberg is dodging and weaving between every little bit of CC, flashes onto him, and then comes the Wild Growth. A lot of damage coming down, Polymorph comes in, and now the Crescendum can really start to lead the fight to victory. 2 dead to the hand of Chrisberg, and a 3rd soon to follow as Tweak will drop in just a second. Sidestep on the Rupture, never mind, able to escape for now, but it is 3 for 1 in the long term as Fraze drops, but BB Muffin, Aniki, and Jamsu all fall as well. Another 2 kills go into the back pocket of Chrisberg, and Refresh picks one up just for good measure.
And as the kills go in Chrisberg's back pocket, his entire team is jumping into his backpack. Venomcrest rallying around their star AD carry to make the fight happen. Aphelios, he did miss the ultimate, we all saw that, but again, another fight where you're able to just free hit because of the space that this Lulu is able to buy you. And Nikki manages to find his way onto the backline. He is hitting this Aphelios, and it doesn't matter because Polymorph is a broken spell. It is so unfair, as we see here on the side of Rize. You are trading back for the second Drake. Well, getting back out on the map sooner because, of course, all of the early deaths, you didn't have the reset, you had a death timer. Means you're just back out on the map quicker. So you're now already got the second Drake on lock, but on the side of Venomcrest, you're not really worried about the second Drake. You're going to take these fights at the third Drake when your Aphelios is likely going to have the third item completed in his inventory. It is going to be that Infinity Edge completed as the second item. This is not the highest damage 2-item combo that you can have on the Aphelios, but it is a damn scary one.
Yeah, I mean, scary is no joke of a word to describe what this Aphelios is right now. That fight, he had 3, maybe even 4 members jump on his head, and with the power of a Lulu and a Maokai, stayed alive long enough to truly let fire. Now in the top side, looking to try and take this top lane tower down as the bot lane has already fallen. You can see They sent BB Muffin up to catch Sin, left in this mid lane. Jamsu just hovering, just in case, but I'd imagine, I'd wager, an Infinity Edge in inventory. Chrisberg's happy to go and grab that one.
Yeah, Infinity Edge completed. That is 2-item spike, 50% crit chance. And there's not really any tank that you have to worry about right now on the side of Venom, on the side of Rize. Yes, there is technically a Mundo, but the Mundo doesn't really have armor. He has health. And you shred through health stackers regardless of whatever is going on in the game. You just have this much damage on the Aphelios right now that you are going to be able to deal with everything. We just need to see Venomcrest respect the fact that they have no information, and
there's going to be a kill on the top side as Sin gets jumped on by Ketsuo. Matthew is punished in the mid lane for stepping towards a bush. He had no right going towards it. It's just going to be a trade of 1-for-1 AD carry for support across the map. With BB Muffin and Jamsu still in the mid lane, Chrisberg has to be a little bit careful. Teleport from BB Muffin into that top lane to defend the tower from Ketsuo. But the fact that Venomcrest were able to find a way to equalize the punish on towards their support is definitely what you want to be seeing as a Venomcrest fan. And as for Rize fans, being able to take out this Lulu, definitely going to get you a good way forward.
Yeah, I mean, if you had tools to then force the fight onto trying to force the fight onto Chrisberg, considering he had his cleanse down, and maybe if you use that solar flare to try and catch him out instead of locking down the Lulu, could have possibly seen a play happen. But as you see here, this is, I'm not sure this is something you want to go for. Like, Jamsu lives by the skin of his teeth. It doesn't end up to be a kill. Refresh is doing the right job at the right time. You know, that Hollow Radiance in his inventory means that he has so much more wave clear than you would expect from a Cho'Gath at this point in the game. Has that Bramble West in inventory to try and count down the healing coming through from the Fiora. Just able to buy so much time for this Venomcrest roster. As we see here, they are going to force this mid lane tier 1 down. It will give them space to finally play around on the map. Try and make these Ketsuo rotations more obnoxious. Trying to link up Phrase together with the rest of the squad more efficiently. As we see them trying to shift it into the top lane tier 1. No. We're using it as a battering ram.
Thought about it, but didn't quite go for it as a good Moonlight Vigil leads to a knock-up going down onto Sin, and Ketsuo goes on a killing spree. Solar Flare goes wide, only managed to tag the slow. BB Muffin is next on the list, does have the Seraph pop, and a Wild Growth stops Jamsu in his tracks against Chrisberg. It will just be the one kill going across, but a very, very nice usage of the Vigil, Gravitum, and the Herald to make sure that Sin had no room to survive.
Yeah, Phrase using the Herald as the battering ram, trying to make something happen. Doubles back around while, you know, probably on the side of Rize, you're thinking maybe he's shifting it into top lane, trying to take the turret down. No, he doubles back around, finds the window to get the knockup down onto the Jinx, and Sin, we praised him a lot last game. Dutifully. He played really well. He found the pentakill. He just did the right thing at the right time. In this game, he's just being punished for being this immobile AD carry playing into a Maokai Talon. It is just really difficult to be able to match the damage and match the target access that these two currently have onto an immobile AD carry like a Jinx.
Yeah, most certainly is, and this is a champion that Sin has come to be known for over his time in UK League of Legends scene. Jinx, Twitch are the two big ones that Sin has made synonymous with his name. Starting this game 0-3-1, we're nearly 20 minutes in at this point. Artican will be spawning up shortly. This next dragon is up and it will be soul point for Rize if they get it. We can see both teams posturing around it to try and gain control of the river, but it is in Rize's favor for now. Teleport coming in from Refresh to join the rest of his team. And it's going to be a full 5 versus 5. Ketsuo looking to get on a flank. Rupture not going to tag onto anybody for now as Tweak is stepping forward, finds a lot of damage. Nature's Grasp has been used, will tag on to at least one, but Tweak is already rinsed. Good shockwave from BB Muffin, takes Phrase out. The Solar Flare will mean Refresh goes down as well, but there's so much damage coming out of Chrisberg. It's a double kill for the Aphelios. BB Muffin can do nothing but run for the hills. Ketsuo on top of his head for the majority of that fight, and it's a 3-for-1. And Venomcrest, while they may not be able to get somewhere first, they can get their job done better.
They can just keep standing there, keep walking up once at the night vision. Phrase, just being able to throw down the Nature's Grasp and just being able to create so much space. And Tweak, we are saying he's not really tanky. He just has health. It doesn't really matter if you have health when the Nephelios on 3 autos with the red-white is able to deal about 1600 damage to you. Like, we saw the grey health appear and it then just popped. Gone, disappeared. Nothing. BB Muffin finds the shockwave to try at least take down Frey, so it's not an empty fight. It's not a 3-for-0, it's a 3-for-1. But still, it feels really, really difficult as in when you look into this situation as Rize. Oh?
Looking to punish onto Chrisberg here. Ball goes down, Shockwave forces the flash away. In return, Chrisberg able to get a good chunk of damage down onto Tweak just with auto binding Eclipse. Takes off about a quarter of this Mundo's health, as you were saying. Even on red-white, it takes about 3 autos to do 1600 damage. Doesn't matter if it's red-white at this point, as Nephelios is coming close to that 3rd item now, a Noon Quiver in inventory, likely going into an LDR. Maybe even that Immortal Shield Bow just for also ability. Atakan started up by the Serpents, and they really do just want to sink their fangs into Rize one final time. As Chrisberg able to find onto Tweak once already. Jamson now running for the hill, slowed up by Graviton, rooted up, knocked it up. And this Leona is not long for this world. It's yet another kill going across to Chrisberg. Legendary 9-0-1 on this Aphelios. Atakan about to be in his back pocket, and while you may lose a tier 2 in the top lane, the rest of the map is yours to control, Venomcrest.
Niki's trying to find pressure where he can, but this is eerily similar to the game 1, where we have a Niki on the sideline. Yes, he has the advantage in the individual matchup, but he's not able to convert that into the actual fights. He's not able to be there to try and shut down this Fairy carry on the side of Venomcrest. And Chrisberg, 9-0-1, as you were saying. It looks like everybody on the Venomcrest side has acknowledged that they win through Chrisberg. We see Ketsu completed Black Cleaver. Usually a Talon would go for something like a Cyrilda's. No, we're skipping that. We're going for a Black Cleaver to try and set up Chrisberg to deal even more damage now that he even has completed the LDR. It is just Venomcrest rallying around their star AD carry to make something happen out of this series. We came into it already thinking Venomcrest have this secret potential. They have these players that can make something happen. I'm not gonna lie, I doubted a little bit after seeing that game 2 demolished. And now we're in a game 3 where Chrisberg and Matthew are rising to the occasion, and every single member of the team, the Kingmaker phrase, just is showing up. He's just playing better.
Yeah, I think Venomcrest, they came to party in game 1. They had a bit of a stumble in game 2, but they're back again and are ready to fight and rise. I mean, they're trying their best to put up a fight, beating off in 4-2-0 on this Orianna, but really the only saving light for the side of Rize at present. These shockwaves have been incredible, but there's so little else going for them in this game. That being said, there is always a way, and if they can catch Chrisberg and shut him down, there is a chance. Speaking of which, they're looking. Soliflare goes wide, traps go wide, and he's annihilated 2 already! Infernum pops as a Moonlight Vigil finds its mark! Jamsu falls as well, and while you may try to catch him, if you cannot land your skills, he will rise. He will take your namesake and sink his fangs deep and fast into your neck for a killing blow. That's exactly what he's looking to do.
12-0-1, Chrisberg just blows up the carry duo on the side of Rize. There is no question about who is running this game. It is Venomcrest off of the back of a Chrisberg masterpiece performance. I can't sing the praises of this player enough at this point. He is he's sidestepping everything. He is playing pixel perfect AD carry gameplay. He is a hyper carry. He knows he has a duty on his shoulders to be the one that everybody's looking towards to win the game for you, and he is delivering time after time after time.
The entire gold lead of Venomcrest is on Chrisberg's shoulders. 6,000 gold above his lane counterpart. That is incredible. That is insane. That is nigh unheard of.
That is like Gangplank into Shen type gold leads.
That is an incredible gold lead. And 100-0ing at 2.5 items with 1 Moonlight Vigil is even more unheard of. Level 13 and level 12, Chrisberg matching levels in that fight, really is just showing why he is to be feared, why we call him one of the best in his role. Looking to secure their 2nd dragon of the game. with the Baron spawning in less than a minute, Venomcrest can look for a killing blow whenever they so please.
Yeah, it does feel like Venomcrest are just looking to not make mistakes at this point. Good uses by the sapling there, to, for my phrase, to not find himself in the jaws of a face check. And now you should be starting to shift your pressure towards the top side. The Baron is coming up. You're looking to make a play around. You're looking to use this Baron empowered minions to make something happen on the map. You want to offset the Fiora's potential to split push with this Baron power play. You want to play a 4-1 maybe with the Talon or the Cho'Gath sitting on the side lane. But main objective is protect the president, protect the carry. Chrisberg. Currently, it feels like Venomcrest are just on the wings of their AD carry. Everyone else understands the concept of he is winning the game for us, and let us not throw the game for him.
Yep, there's definitely that understanding as the Baron has been started. 5,000 health and counting. Teleport coming in from Refresh from that bot side. Leaves Aniki on his own. Quetzal having to jump out of the middle of everybody. But this objective is already down. Nature's Grasp just used for good measure. And with every member returning back to base, Aniki has to be very, very careful in keeping this push going.
Yeah, Aniki, we saw it in game one on the Yorick, just trying to make something happen on the sideline, just trying to make the push happen, and then he was just outvalued in every single fight. He was not able to have the impact that we thought he could have in that matchup. Refresh on the side and just being able to create so much space for the rest of his team for him to just be kind of useless. In this game, he's on the Fiora. He has gotten every single plate on the top lane tier 1 turret. He's gone bot lane and picked up more plates. He currently has 3 items. And it feels like it doesn't matter. This Fiora is made of paper currently. It doesn't really matter. You have to hit the nastiest riposte in all of Fiora riposte history and hope Chrisberg doesn't cleanse it.
And that's assuming you can even get to him with it in the first place. Baron empowered minions barreling down this bottom lane, shielded for a third of his health between his Lulu, Matthew, and the Bloodthirster that should now be in his inventory. A lot of poke coming down, Shockwave lands, doesn't quite find the traps however. Good Mikhails, and there's not enough damage to 100-0. This AD carry able to step up to the wave and just heal it all back up. And you can't one-shot him with everything in the tank. What can you do, Rize? Now barreling into the base. This tower is next on their list of prizes to claim. And Chrisberg now has no threat. There's no Shockwave, there's no Solar Flare, there's no Jinx ultimate either. All you can really do is chip him down and he'll heal it right back up because there's no anti-heal to be seen. Flashes forwards onto BB Muffin. Doesn't quite find the Vigil either, so there's not quite enough damage there, but now he can step forward and Jamsu goes down. Chrisberg is looking to make a statement. There's not quite enough damage there. Doesn't quite have the ability to keep hitting, but he's done it. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Quetzal's on the backside and the Shockwave goes wide. Down goes BB Muffin, and down goes Rize. Chrisberg finds another onto Tweak. Sin does what he can, but it's not enough. And Venomcrest stay another day and win this series 2-1. Rize, they did their best in game 2, looked so good. They're going home, and Venomcrest take another step closer to being able to claim a third in a row.
I never doubted them, I would like to say. Venomcrest, just beautiful, honestly. There's not really much else to say. They understood what their win condition was. They made missteps in the early game, but it didn't really matter as long as Chrisberg got to farm for free, as long as he got to play together with his support. And as much as we hyped up Chrisberg, and because it's deserved, this game fully on his wings. If he doesn't get, player of the series, I would be shocked. But all of the work that was put in by the rest of his team to keep him safe, to prop him up, to make him the carry that he was in these games. The phrase on these engage/supportive tanks. In the Maokai, going for something like the Nautilus in game 2 that didn't quite work out. Matthew on the Lulu, on the Braum, just trying to make things happen, trying to make space for their AD carry, and Refresh in these 2 wins, playing these tanks that maybe he's not as well known for. He's more well known for the bruisers, but he's going back to these tanks because he understands that the space he creates on these tanks is allowing his AD carry to win in the game. And Ketsuo, he had a few missteps in the early lane, and that ended up being such a threat on the flank that it made these fights so three-dimensional that on the side of Rize, you kind of just had the situation where, oh, hell, we're getting flanked on this side, and we're getting attacked on this side, and they're walking at us on this side. What do we do? What do we do? We need to pull the trigger. And it's so chaotic, and it's so difficult to keep your head cool in that situation and make the play happen that you're just crumbling. And once the gold lead hits, and once the Calibrum, I feel like as soon as the Calibrum double kill the Infernum double kill in the mid lane hit, that was game over. At that point, no, what else can you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Was an incredible masterclass in both of the wins for Venomcrest, and they played their hearts out. That being said, commiserations to Rize. They really, really did their best to fight back, but they will be going home today. And Venomcrest live to fight another day. They live to fight for another finals. They live to fight for the three-peat in titles. That being said, we were both right in our predictions. We both said 2-1 Venomcrest, so we are looking great right now. That is it from myself and Harold. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we're going to go ahead and throw it back to Middlecock, Rob, and Savonix to round down the show, and maybe let Middlecock gloat just that little bit more. Alright. Fucking hell.
They're muted.
Oh! Sounds not working. Sounds
Bang,
not
bang, bang,
working.
bang, bang.
What? What? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
To be fair, this is as confusing as Rise's gameplay.
This is. Thank you, Luna in the chat, and Casual Cutie. I can't say that combination of words on stream, but yeah, no, pretty much. Wow, what a series. Derogatory in sort of parentheses. That was intriguing, I would say, at many times, but I think fundamentally quite a fun and entertaining watch. Not the cleanest League of Legends at all, but I think at the end of the series, Sophoenix, Venomcrest won more games than they lost.
They did. And whilst, there's an easy analysis here, right, to be like, well, Chrisberg just carried. He is on the team of Venomcrest, and so you have to give him their props. I'm not going to criticize Rize too much, as they are eliminated now, so there's not too much to say. Other than the fact that, first game, you pick a split pusher, doesn't work, you got to adapt through the series. You can't do it in the game-deciding game of the series. And I feel like that's what brought it over the edge for Venomcrest.
Yeah, it did feel very strange. We had this sort of big team fight focus in Game 2 from Aniki. Soft MVP performance, I would say. And then we go to the Fiora, which really just didn't have the impact that it needed to, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, we've said this a lot versus Venomcrest, that their solo lane's not so good, but Chrisberg is very good. So your game plan facing them has to be shut down Chrisberg. And we saw it in Game 1, it wasn't possible. They didn't have access to that Varus, and Chrisberg took over bot lane and then took over the game. Game 2, Ornn, Vi, Rakan, Chrisberg can't play the game. And then Game 3, you can see that Fiora. And there's just not really anything. There's a Mundo, there's a Leona, but that's Leona's the really access. You don't have Ghost on the Mundo as well. I think you spoke about that behind the scenes as well. You don't have a way of actually closing the distance and getting onto Chrisberg. And I'm not a fan of what they ended up choosing for this split push. They've shown the entire split they're not that confident playing around Aniki on side. It's disappointment for Rize, but for Venomcrest, they did show up, and Chrisberg, basically unbelievable performance in this Game 3.
Yeah, and I mean, we keep asking that question, Sophoenix, of like Venomcrest, where it doesn't feel like they need to completely take a hold of a game to end up winning it, and that's what happened in the series versus Azul. It's kind of what's happened in the series today. When they go up against Brod and Friends, what's going to need to be different for them if they want to make it to the finals, if they want to go all the way?
So I kind of mentioned before we went live that I feel like Venomcrest is a great representation of champions like Kassadin and Kale, where if you don't do certain things in the game, a certain Chrisberg will just kill everyone. And I feel like teams like Rize, they showed today that they didn't have it in them on the day. I think on another day they may have done it, but today it wasn't it? I think a team like Broad and Friends, they won't give you the time and day to play like this. They will punish you. I feel like Venomcrest, like, all due respect, the inactivity on the other side of the map is a concern, and a team as experienced as Broad and Friends will exploit that to a very high degree. So I think if I'm Venomcrest, it's like you kind of only have this game plan at the moment, but maybe stabilizing those solo lanes is something I would focus on.
Yeah, I think that was a big thing that I was seeing as well. It's because of the inevitability almost of Chrisberg. Sort of the job for those solo lanes for Ketso for Refresh just becomes exist and survive. And we were seeing multiple times like big CS deficits going against those guys, but it really doesn't matter, Rob, when you've got this guy that can come out of the bot lane and do the sort of things that we're seeing of other ADCs in the league that we've had for so long.
And I think as well to bring up that we know what Venomcrest is going to do. You go into every game versus Venomcrest knowing how they're going to play. You know, phrase, we said it even before this game, it's bot lane into bot lane into bot lane into bot, and maybe a little bit more bot lane. That's how they like to play. He might occasionally throw a bone to one of his solo lanes if they need to be bailed out, but generally it's play around Chrisberg. And I think that today, Rize's bot lane, Sin Jamsu didn't really respect it, I think, in a number of those games where they were playing too far up in the lane, they're trying to play to win lane and play too aggressive, they're not actually respecting the time as a jungler can gank. We saw it in this game as well. And once Chrisberg got those 3 kills, gets his collector online, Sin messes up. We said it behind the we have to break. There was a mess up from Sin on a reset before the Drake. Chrisberg arrives with his gold, Sin doesn't have it, plays for a plate, doesn't get the back off. And suddenly you've got an ADC, as you said it behind the scenes, 2,000 gold ahead of you, just walking. It's very hard to play in that scenario. As a bot lane, and then suddenly Chrisberg, he knows what he wants to do. Everyone plays for him. He's got 4 meat bags in Chrisberg, and they will throw themselves in front of him if they need to. But in this game, he just walked to the enemy team and killed them all.
Yeah, I think that's maybe one of the things that we can actually say as a strength of Venomcrest is that they know their strengths. They understand what they need to do to win games. And we're talking about teams sort of walking into them with maybe a little bit less of a sort of fully formed conception of how they work, and that's how they're getting these games over the line, is that fundamentally teams aren't addressing what you need to address over next to shut them down.
Exactly. In a weird way, I feel like teams like Venomcrest, with a gameplay like this, it's almost like had they had a better top laner or a better mid laner, maybe the team doesn't work as well as it's doing now, because Rize's job, right? What is it? I start topside, path bot. You just do that every single game. You don't need to overcomplicate things. It's a very straightforward game plan. Yeah, my top and mid, they'll get solo killed, they'll lose lane. Doesn't matter. My AD carry is going to 1v9 the game afterwards. And so that simplicity of game plan probably is what making this such a impressive playoffs run for Venomcrest.
Yeah, and it is impressive. Like, let's not forget that. Started off in this playoffs in the lowest seed possible. They've come through and have sort of going through the punches as you tend to do, so starting off with teams that are slightly weaker and then increasing in strength to go on, and then that matchup against Broad and Friends is going to be very, very big. I think the expectations for Venomcrest of this playoffs are a lot lower than they have been in the past, but with every win that you get in a series, you feel the confidence building, and these players are going to start to go to themselves, hold on, actually, we can do this. We've got a lot of quality on this roster. We can actually push further than people would anticipate that we would.
I think as well, if you look at the games on the day, we have to bring up that I think it was a very much a back and forth series. How when they come into, as you said before, a more structured team like Broad and Friends in that previous series against Inkquick, they had just come back off of a holiday. They had all been away for a week. They looked out of sorts. They looked better in games 2 and 3, although through game 3. So now you're facing a team that has had the games against Gucci, which they managed to come back in that game 1 and then run away with game 2. And then now you're coming up against a team that will have even more practice, more scrim time, storied roster. It's another step up, and it's a significant step I would say for Venomcrest coming into this next round. if you look across the board, matchup versus matchup, do we trust Akaz and QQR to get the better of Ketsu and Refresh compared to what happened today with Rize? We do expect it. And then in bot lane, we know how good Spark can be. When you think of best UK ADCs, or at least the ones that play in the UK scene, Spark is always on the tip of your tongue. So we expect an explosive bot lane coming into it. I believe it's next Thursday on the 11th. We expect a massively explosive bot lane experience, a lot of jungle attention, and it should be a great series.
Yeah, and I think that's, again, when we're talking about the higher echelons of teams, that's when your strengths just start to get neutralized by the base level that you're having to reach to. And I think whilst this series has often been defined by what's going on with our ADCs, what's going on with our bot laners, if we are looking forward, Rob, the solo laners, I think, do become much more important, because I think that has been the weakness that Venomcrest have had that have been shored up by just how good Chris Berg is. And, of course, what all of our teams are playing for, well, not Rize anymore, unfortunately, sorry guys, are tickets to our grand final in the finest city in the British Isles, Stoke-on-Trent. It was not Rize winning that 2-1, that was instead going over to Venomcrest Saturday, the 20th of September, 3 PM BST in Stoke. Staffordshire University, a university which pretends it isn't in Stoke, but it is in Stoke. They can't lie about that, but we are very happy to have them hosting our finals once again. We're going to have a load of people coming down. It would be absolutely wonderful to see you up there.
And Brod, you've got to make it. That's the big thing, I think, that's for us this year. Brod has not made a finals. Brod have not made a finals. They should have made it at least one of them, and they've not managed to do it. They saw Venomcrest get that reverse sweep on stage in the previous split. They want a piece of that. They want 40 Brod strong in the crowd, and this is their split to do it, isn't it? Really, if you look at the strength across the board, they're either going to end up face Venomcrest, then it's probably Ink Quick losing to Belfast. I would do my prediction now. That is a run they can make and win. And Brod, they've got to be there. That's what we're looking forward to. These other teams here are here to upset the Brod story, who have now confirmed RPS. They end up being the protagonists of this league, Middlecourt, as much as you despise everything Brod.
Hold on.
But they're now the protagonists of the league, aren't they? Really? They need to make it.
This is a disgusting level of bias. Right. Sovereigns, as someone that has no stakes in playoff setting ball.
Oh, wow, really had to put that one in there, didn't
you? Come on, man. I'm just trying to get
Crazy.
Oh.
Yeah. Go on.
What are you thinking about another live finals for the UKEL?
I think it's fantastic. As someone who's been part of the UK scene since not the very beginning, but for a while, I think these LAN finals are exactly what the community wants. It's a very tight-knit group, and it's lovely to see everyone together. I haven't been myself. I'm going to blame the timings of this league. You keep hosting them when I have to travel to some foreign country, but I'll be there one day, hopefully.
We'll get you. We'll get you down there. And I believe that I've just had the call. We are going to be closing out the show. We'll start with you, Rob, so we can cut you off, and Sovanik still has time. Thoughts on today? How has it been? What is that match next week going to look like here for Venomcrest up against Brod and Friends?
Questions still around Venomcrest and that Game 2 performance. I think you still need to question whether they are the real deal yet. I still have some questions about... it felt like they stood still and Rize outplayed themselves in some instances. However, you can't take away the win for today for Venomcrest. It should be a competitive series on Thursday. On Monday, we also have Belfast versus Ink Quick, so let's not forget about that one.
Yeah,
that should be a phenomenal series as well. We're going to see Roulette versus Nolte, who, in my opinion, are two best junglers. So this next week should be two absolute banger series going forward. I'm just excited to see where it all goes, because that finals in Stoke were amazing last time. You weren't there.
It's going to Stoke, Rob. It's going to Stoke. That's where it's going.
You weren't there last time, right?
I wasn't there.
It was amazing in terms of the vibe in the sort of studio. So I'm so excited for you to see if you can make it there.
And for those of you that are watching, don't worry if the tickets sell out. I will be renting a gazebo that I'll have outside, and then I'll put like a tablet, and I'll put it on a table so that you can watch it while still being there and getting the vibe. Sovanix, I'm starting to ramble. I'm starting to talk nonsense. Save me from this insanity.
Wait, what was the question?
I don't think I have one. I don't think I have one, mate. I think
Your closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts.
Oh.
How was observing this League of Legends game change your understanding of the human condition?
I haven't thrown out too many controversial takes on this desk, but I think based off this series and the other lower bracket match, I think we already know the answer of who's progressing after this.
That's brutal. That is absolutely brutal, and that is where we are going to be ending. Thank you very much, everyone who tuned in and watched the stream. Everyone who didn't tune in and watch the stream, don't know what you were doing. Pfft, losers. Rob, Sovanix, Luna, Harold, Zoe, all of the people on the admin team that make this show work, whose names I don't know because I'm actually not as caring as I think I am. Thank you so much for being here, for making it happen. I have been Middlecop. We will see you in a little bit.